Aggie. Got cat hair all over my clothes. I really need to address my dress. I mean, I'm not wearing a dress, but address what I'm wearing. This shirt, whatever color this is, like charcoal gray, my pants are the exact same color. I look like I'm either a UPS driver right now or like I'm Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, some sort of a covert spy. I'm gonna go with the latter because that sounds a lot more cool to me. But shout out to all the UPS drivers as well. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show. And first and foremost, I do got to shout out a very awesome supporter of this channel by the name of Deborah, who has allowed us and helped us through a very nice donation that she made to us to be able to purchase this brand new Sennheiser MKE 600 microphone that you guys are hearing me on right now. We've also got some soundproof padding on the way, and we're going to be doing a lot to try to enhance the audio quality of these videos here because for the longest time we've been using this Blue Yeti mic, which has been good. It's a USB mic. It's pretty cheap, but honestly, I don't feel like it's all that professional. And in fact, that was brought to my attention by somebody who commented on a video. And you know, to think about that, I get all sorts of comments of people just saying all sorts of awful things. Nothing affected me like this one comment that I read from, I don't even remember who it was who left this comment, but they said, "Joe, your audio is a potato." And I know that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it struck a chord deep within me. We had to make some changes. So again, special shout out to Deborah, and I'm hoping the audio quality of this video sounds a lot more professional. I want to tell you guys today about a crazy prison-related news story. And in fact, we share quite a few prison-related news stories with you guys, and I usually tend to say that they are all crazy. However, this story that I'm getting ready to share with you today, I've never heard anything like this, and this one, in my opinion, by far sets the bar for not only a crazy prison-related news story, but also when prisoners take it too far. Now, this story takes place down in South Carolina, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. There is so much crazy prison-related news that comes out of this state. I don't know. Maybe it's something in the water. I mean, I have no idea why so much prison news comes from this state. You know, the first time I ever heard about drones being used in an effort to try to smuggle things into a prison was down in South Carolina. It was just a few months ago where they had a huge prison riot down in this state where 7 prisoners were killed, a bunch of others were injured. They've had all sorts of guards get knocked off for trying to bring the pack in, whether we're talking about cell phones or drugs. And it's this story that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today that also takes place down in South Carolina. South Carolina convicts blackmail soldiers in a sexting scheme. Folks, this is a crazy story. This is also a pretty horrible story as well. I don't condone this. You know, I have nothing but the utmost respect for those who serve in the military. I come from a military family. My father was in the Navy for like 30 plus years. Dave's dad has been in the military. My stepfather was in the military. You know, Why you gotta go messing with some soldiers? You know, it would be one thing if this story said South Carolina convicts blackmail people, just any old people, in a sexting scheme, but it just makes this story that much worse knowing that, you know, you're trying to take advantage of some military folks. Inmates in prison across South Carolina have been accused of extorting money from U.S. soldiers after posing as young women on dating apps, sending nude photos, and then demanding payment. Folks, there was a lot that I want to say in relation to what we've discussed thus far. One, this is going to be absolutely crazy. You know, prisoners, they run all sorts of scams and gimmicks and cons, and they're always trying to get over. I did a video not too long ago called Dating a Prisoner, Is It a Good Idea? And I tried to say in that video, without really throwing all the prisoners under the bus, that most prisoners, a lot of prisoners, there's quite a few prisoners who ain't trying to do nothing else but get them some zoom zooms and wham whams and commissary money. And this story coming out of South Carolina is a perfect example of just that. Now, I want to share a bit of information that I think you guys are going to find very interesting. You know, when you think about something like this story right here, this sounds like, you know, a criminal mastermind, a genius idea. What kind of a prisoner could possibly come up with this idea? They have to be a sociopath. They got to be deranged, or they got to be just, you know, thinking all the wrong things. But here's something really crazy. You know, there's a very popular book in prison written by a guy by the name of John Grisham. Now, John Grisham is an author that usually writes like Law and Order type novels, like courtroom suspense novels. But he wrote this one particular book that's called The Brethren. And what this book is about some judges who end up getting locked up in prison. If I can remember correctly, I want to say it was like some judges. I'm not exactly sure about that point, but I know it involves these people who were in federal prison who end up creating some type of fake profiles and begin getting these pen pals some kind of a way. I can't really remember how it was they were going about getting these pen pals. Maybe it was judges who were writing to them. I don't know. They were making pen pals with some pretty high and important people. And then what these prisoners ended up doing in that novel was blackmailing the people who were writing to them. So, when I hear about this story right here, when I shared it with Dave, we talked about it a little bit on Kicking the Bobo this morning on twitch.tv/AfterPrisonShow, which, there's some major news in that department as well. After Prison Show just got partnered on Twitch. I don't know what that really means, but hey, kudos to that. But while we were talking about this story out of South Carolina, that novel definitely came up. Hey, you remember that John Grisham novel, The Brethren? And why it came up just so quickly is because while locked up, I can guarantee you that almost every single prisoner is going to read that novel. I read it. Dave read it. How many of you out there who have been locked up have read that book as well? It's a crazy book. It involves a lot of homosexual activity with the pen pals, and then they get to conning and conniving and blackmailing and start to receiving all sorts of money. So, I share that with you because, again, there's a lot of prisoners who read that novel. There's a lot of prisoners who are even inspired by that novel. Man, you see what these dudes is doing? Forget the fact of who they writing and who they is. They getting money. I bet you they locker is full up. I bet you they ain't got to worry about where their next ramen soup or bag of chips is coming from. Shoot, I'm about to get me some pen pals. And I'm just wondering if in any part what took place down in South Carolina was in some form or fashion inspired by that book. Now, again, the story said that these prisoners were creating fake profiles of women. And I want to just talk about that right there because, this is very ironic. When you're serving time, one of the main things that you want to focus on not being is a bitch. I mean, it's as simple and plain as that. And though I know that's a derogatory way to talk about a woman, I don't mean it in that regard. I'm just trying to emphasize, while locked up, you're going to have a lot of dudes running around talking about, I ain't no female. I ain't no one of those. I ain't no female dog. You ain't going to be treating me like I'm your Hey, yo, you got the wrong one, stick, man. I'm thug life for life. Look at these chains. I ain't nothing but chains and locks and balls and chains. Dudes will try so hard to not be perceived as that, to not have anybody while locked up think of them as that, and yet here you go having dudes pretending that they're women. And this story just goes from bad to worse. This blackmailing scheme that was taking place, the story reports that countless prisoners have participated in this scheme since 2015. They didn't say numerous, they said countless. And one major problem down there in South Carolina prisons, and probably in prisons everywhere here in the United States, is cell phones. For whatever reason, you sure got a lot of prisoners down there in South Carolina who are getting their hands on these phones. And it makes me think that every single prisoner who's down there with a phone was probably attempting to do exactly what this story is talking about. And what exactly it was that they were doing was they were creating fake profiles on Plenty of Fish, pretending to be a woman, and then most likely reverse engineering the way that you would go about using this dating app in the first place. Any straight guy who's on this dating app, he's gonna be up there looking for the girls. Oh, that's a cute girl. Let me go ahead and swipe to the right. Good God, what the God, my God, I can't unsee that. These dudes weren't up here looking at the girls. These dudes were up here looking at the guys. Ooh, he kind of cute, but he don't look like he got no money. I'm gonna go ahead and swipe to the left. Oh, he military. That's the exact type. Hey, dude. I got me a military dude, right? Oh, God, look, he look like he work out. I bet you he gonna send me some money. I'm gonna get me all sorts of little icy white honey buns and some Swiss roll cakes. Swipe right all day. Ooh, another one. I am really trying to degrade these prisoners because I feel what they've done, they are scum of the earth for this. Tell them I said it. I don't care. I'm out here free. They locked up. What you gonna do to me? Oh, they getting released though. These guys were going on Plenty of Fish. They were trying to find guys who were in the military because I don't know why. Maybe they felt like these guys would be easier to get over on. Once they would begin sparking up a conversation with these guys, then what they would do is either unsolicitedly or whether they were just exchanging them, and I don't know how these prisoners were going about exchanging, but they would begin to send nude photos. Once they sent the photos, then a couple of hours later, days later, probably before that next commissary bubble sheet goes in for sure, they would then message the military guy they were talking to, telling him, hey, I'm the girl's father that sent you those nudes, and by the way, she's not 18. Here's how we're gonna go about this. You're either gonna send me $50 so I can max out on store day, or I'm gonna call the police. And you probably don't wanna risk a court-martial, do you? You know, all of this is just absolutely crazy to think about. But here's my concerns, because they don't mention it in the story. One, I really wanna know how these prisoners got caught. Obviously, somebody had to come forward. There was definitely an investigation. They mentioned that. But they don't mention individual prisoners getting caught up in this situation just yet. I can guarantee, and I'm hopeful that they will. And there's a reason why I feel like they will, and there's also a reason why I feel like it's going to be hard for them to get caught up in this. The reason why I feel like it's going to be hard for these prisoners to get caught is because I kind of feel like and believe that they're going to have to get caught with that cell phone first. And it most certainly sounds like already they got a tough enough time dealing with these cell phones that prisoners are getting this contraband that they're getting their hands on already. But there is one potential way prisoners are going to get jammed up for this, and that's through this woman that officials have identified who's not in prison, she's outside the jail, and who acted as the money mule. And trust and believe me when I tell you, when it comes to interrogating this woman, they're going to be threatening her with everything. You know, you're probably going to be facing all sorts of time. However, we can make all of that go away. Just give us their names. Go ahead and write them right down on this piece of paper right here. Give us all them prisoner names you was muling that money for. And you know, I ain't never said nothing like this before in my life, and forgive me if you disagree with what I'm about to say. But you know what? I hope she give these dudes up. I hope she give them up. And I want to go ahead and wrap this up with one final point, and this comes from the South Carolina Department of Corrections, who have identified contraband cell phones as a major problem, and they've also went ahead and petitioned for the ability to jam mobile phone communications from within state prisons. So you know, that's probably the only way prisons down here in this state are going to be able to get control over this situation. But again, this is an absolutely crazy story that I just wanted to share with you guys and also bring to your attention. You know, the lengths in which a prisoner is willing to go just in an effort to try to get him some money for commissary or for whatever else, maybe he wants to smoke him some roll-ups, whatever else, is pretty much virtually limitless. Obviously, by what these dudes down in South Carolina are doing, probably acting like they are thug life gangster of the year inside them prison walls, but as soon as they get in they bunk underneath them covers with that cell phone pulled up, they on plenty of fish looking for them some guys. And you know, I wonder if they brag about it too. Man, you ain't got nothing but 2 guys sending you money. I got me like 4 or 5 guys. I'm like the male gigolo kingpin baller in here. I got 5 guys. Sounds like the type of video I wouldn't never want to run across by accident. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about this. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!